Ladies and gentlemen, it's Trackmania. We're back, mania. Top of the track of the morning to your laddies. There we go. People have been asking for it. Yesterday was my day off. I did not record the track of the day. I didn't even play the track of the day. How about that? It's called a Sunday drive, not a Saturday drive. We're top 12 on Sakura, which I think is... I think we're going to decay a little bit as time goes on. I think people that are good at... is my hypothesis. I think people that are good at Trackmania are going to stick around and stay good at Trackmania and then virally get more people involved. And for a time, I think the leaderboards are going to get more and more competitive. Let me put it that way. Did okay relative to the egg card. And today is Oasis. Let's see what the Discord's saying about Trackmania today. Today is August the 9th. Just give it a moment. Sic pagi creatus est. This one is weird. This track looks a bit strange. I kind of like this one. I despise almost everything about this track. Okay, well, you know, GPS backwards. A lot of people thought this was me on my sight read last time, which I really appreciated. And if you, oh, I see why you see it's a bit weird. Really, they used like an AI created from my driving to make this. So you're not totally wrong. It's not that I can't do this, it's just that I have not as of yet done this. So I'll level with you. This has shades of that Suburbia track so far. That jump is going to be mighty nasty, no doubt about that. It's got some goofy turns. And actually kind of a long track. I thought it was going to be like 35 seconds, but looks more like it's in the, wow, 53? My lord. It's like a minute-long track. All right, well, it's a little spicy. I think this one's going to take us a while to learn. Trust me, I have heard you loud and clear with respect to the use of checkpoint restarts. We'll get to work on it. Start trying to do some checkpoint restarts where relevant, but for the time being, we're just going to try to get to the end of the course. I gotta admit, my reaction about goofy-ish courses, and I don't even know if you describe this as goofy-ish, but my reaction about courses in Trackmania that are a little bit off the beaten path has actually done like a complete 180. Now when I see a track that's a little memey, a little goofy, I think to myself, this could be our day. Because a lot of people don't possess the necessary know-how or the elbow grease to lead them to that green medal. Now, obviously, this is not an incredible performance out of us. Yeah, okay, so you know what? We learned something very valuable there. You gotta be able to make it... You know what? Let's try that one more time. You gotta be able to make it over the hump there. That's more like it. Okay. That's less like it. I think we should do that one more time. Now, we'll probably approach this differently when we actually have speed to begin with, but still. Alright, this is a part of the course that is gonna be a touch spiced. No doubt about that. But when I see a course like this, I say to myself, this is the beginning of a beautiful arrangement here. There's no reason that we can't persevere a little bit longer and you know, have as much fun as anybody else. We got no medal today, which is pretty embarrassing. But hey, that's 4 minutes to get to our first completion, which actually I think is probably a little bit faster than average. Obviously that's not, but we're not sweating it yet. You know this. You know the solutions. You know the styles. We're not going to be sweating any of the elements in particular early on here until we get much more likely to, well, actually worry about min-maxing in the least. Like, I'm sure there's a dirt cut related there, and for once, a dirt cut is a racing element, not something that Malf leaves in his underpants after Taco Tuesday. Okay. Now we're talking. 3 seconds up, and I mean, it's going to be more than 3 seconds up pretty soon. Not just because we were slower there in our last attempt, but because we took 25 minutes to get through that section right there. I don't know, honestly, this doesn't seem that spicy right now. With all due respect, I mean, this is going to be a bronze. I don't even think it'll be a silver. Oh, alright, my mistake. It is early. The track only rolled over like a minute, or not a minute, 40 minutes ago. So in all likelihood, you know, that North American track ranking is mostly by default. But this seems like a combination of elements that are, to be honest, relatively doable. Like, this is not... we've had very technical tracks where if you messed up like a single corner, it was all going wrong. And you might as well restart. And then we got tracks like this where, you know, I really think that you can almost afford to make some minor mistakes and still be in competition for the gold. Like, we only have to cut off 3 seconds to get to the gold. And I certainly think that there is an easy 3 seconds to pull from here. I do have to figure out how we... Oh! Because I think if we can maintain full speed there, we're in a great spot. But, yeah, I mean, the gold should be no problem. Silver, we'll see. Silver, we'll see. Now, you are silver and silent. You are silver and cold. You in Samba Resplendence. That's right. I was very much into AFI as a child. Well, as a, you know, young teenager. And can I tell you something? I think being into AFI as a youngster informed the way that I feel about K-pop stans now in 2020. Because I think there's a certain you know, element to look at a K-pop stan and be like, why do you have, you know, so much of your life and your happiness is tied to you know, music, particularly not even K-pop stans, specifically BTS here. But BTS, you know, they've had crossover success and are maybe the first K-pop band to have major success in the United States and across the world. Although obviously they've had crossover success in like Japan and, you know, the Philippines and stuff like that prior to this. But I always bring myself back to, you know, being into AFI as a 14-year-old. And then watching the MTV Video Music Awards to see if Sing the Sorrow would win Best New Album or Best Debut. I mean, it's not their debut, but you know what I mean. And then when it did, feeling like I was part of a movement or something like that. So I think I actually, like, I understand. I haven't always been a hipster who's like, oh, really? Wow, that's cool. You listen to popular music? That reminds me of me when I was 6. Have you heard the new Yola Tango album? So I can't believe we actually beat our PB on that one, considering how bad the run looked. So what I'm saying, I guess, is I'm hip. I'm with it. Tucka, 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 tucka. Yo, okay, there you go. Swing away, Meryl. Swing away. Keep those wheels relatively straight. Little dirt cut there. Lost more than I would have liked there. Lost more than I would have liked. Lost a lot more than I would have liked when I clipped the wall. But you know what? We're still hanging tough. Definitely do not want to get a jump there. And definitely do not want to rattle your cage there. It's a bit of a cursed lap for the time being. How about this? I can't believe somehow we're staying up with our previous self. How is such a thing even possible? We're probably only going to finish like a second. Actually, we might even... prior to that, we actually had a chance to beat it, which is kind of amazing. So again, there's no reason to take that corner that sharp. It did work, even though we got past. But still, it's the principle of the matter. Wheels straight-ish. Though those are roughly as straight as I can keep them there. Lost a little there, for sure. No doubt about that. The split went up, but our speed should be lower. Okay, then don't get a jump here. Keep your traction high. Keep your heart 3 stacks. Okay, we definitely do not want your wheels to rattle like that on the average run, but this ain't your granddad's run, you know what I mean? Now, we slowed down so much there, I don't think we can even make the jump. But that was like gold pace. And I really do think we probably, once we get the gold, which it seems like we're more than capable of, once we get the gold, we can start to look at putting some ghosts out here. We're still competitive. Once we get the gold, we'll look at getting some ghosts out here. And if I could learn from the ghosts a little bit better than I did on Friday, that would be for the best. I think there was a little bit of scuttlebutt in the comments. NL, I feel like you disrespected the ghosts on this one, even though you got the author medal. Could have put yourself a little bit more on the shoulders of giants. I think there's definitely something to be said about that. I take that criticism to heart. We got speed. We got enough speed. Keep those wheels straight-ish. Just a complete and utter collapse at the end. And yet we did still cut off 1.7 seconds. I'm telling you, if we string like all of those elements together, we got it. If we get it, we got it. Northern Lion 2020. And I feel like the ghosts are gonna... They're gonna teach us something wonderful here. Okay, maybe not that. So I have to run it through my old cerebral cortex. If forget the start of this. The start of this is not that relevant yet. That's not our pressure point. We just want to be, you know, on a clean lap through here. How do we want to handle this? I definitely think we want to exit closer to... Oh, I think we want to be turned slightly to the left upon landing. We'll live with this. Slightly to the left upon landing. Not here, but okay, that's no good. Slightly to the right on that one would have been solid. By the way, thank you for clipping the Trackmania faces I make. There are some very good ones every single day. And I support it. I very much support it. So we want to... Yeah, there you go. Now, there you don't go. That was just a mess. But to still be up here is fine. Like, the PB is still in play. Specifically because my old self became a coward very shortly. Right around here, there was some cowardice on display. I don't know about that. Not right around here. It's right around here. My old self completely lost it. My new self, new year, new me. We need to get down to 103, right? 103 for the gold. I don't know why I'm being so stubborn about going solo till I get the gold. It's a made-up, you know, fantasy rule. It's not even a rule. It's just, I don't know. For my own confidence, I suppose. But either way, getting a ghost involved early would probably give me the ability to figure this one out way faster. But, you know, for now, I'm doing a good job. I'm happy with myself. And I'm pleased as punch with my performance here early. And this track is really, like, the GPS makes it look like it's a non-stop, you know, clown fiesta. It's actually, like, a pretty standard track, all things considered. At least... Oh, at least this seems to be. Unless I'm missing some kind of goofy shortcut somewhere. I don't know, man. This is still doable. Like, that almost got us there. Okay, I think it's time to at least put North American opponents on. And then we'll get the stopwatch value out here. Alright, let's see how y'all are doing. Tell you, I don't think left or right matters there. That looks like a pretty standard no drift turn. You gotta keep the throttle on, and you gotta keep the wheels as straight as possible there. We did clip the dirt, but I think only clipping it with 2 wheels is totally fine. How are we up on our PB by 1.2 seconds already? Lost a little there for certain. We're gonna hit this tree. But dude, I mean, again, what is it about competition that motivates the human spirit like this? Seeing other cars, maybe it's not competition, maybe it's rather just, you know, being able to be influenced by what other people are doing gives us an advantage. That was a terrible version of that turn. But again, we should still be up, I was just going to say, by like half a second, which is stupid, because I honestly thought our old self was better than this. Excuse me, is that me? No, it's another Egg Carton member. Imagine that. Okay, but we were learning, we're learning. Excuse me, Canada, could we get a little bit more representation on the leaderboard here? Or is it because we're so low in North America right now that all the great Canadian drivers are slightly further ahead? I know what you're thinking, by the way. NL, how the heck did you make that one work? Skirt. Does that answer your question? Not at all, huh? That was a fantastic turn. Now I'm experimenting, and I think that was absolutely... Oh, no, you know what? Heavy drift capabilities there. When those 2 stars and stripes drifted there, they gained so much time. Acceptable. Acceptable. He rattled. It's going to cost us quite a lot. We should still be ahead. Very, very, very close to the gold. Top 62 North America. So were it not for the disaster corner at the end of that, we were sitting extremely pretty. And I think we screwed up the start of that one too, so... There we go. There we go. Much better speed. Keeping those wheels relatively straight. Hello, me. Goodbye, me. I was going to say goodbye, me, because I thought we were going to pass you. Instead, you've passed me. So how are they drifting so much on this corner to keep speed? I don't know yet. We're learning as we go. Now, that was a great entry into this section right here. I'm going to ricochet off the wall, which is really going to cost us. Man, when you're like way ahead on a split, and then when you hit the split, you're half a second behind, it's the kind of stuff that'll keep you up at night. Very gentle entry to this element. Wheels clipped, which is going to slow us way down, but we were way ahead. So we got a competitive spirit inside of us right now. Way late on this corner, but you can, if you're late on the corner, you can kind of cheat the second element. Certainly not good. This is one of our lesser performances so far. So just give her all she's got, Captain. Give it all your lovin', all your hugs and kisses too. Okay, I mean we're making up a little time. We're never a superstar on this final corner, and that's gonna hurt us. Alright, where are we at here? 20 minutes in, still pretty early in the whole scheme of Trackmania. You know how it goes most of the time. I mean, like, the last video was, what, probably like 49 minutes or something like that? People were like, where's the rest of my Trackmania video, garçon? I hear ya. I hear ya. Well, I mean, the rest of the Trackmania video didn't exist because we got the author medal so early, because I've, you know, mastered the art of driving. Surprised I'm so far back on this one, actually. That felt more like what those other cars were offering. But that's old me, right? One of these is old me. What a curse slap. Oh, that it just turned me into a beast. Freed me from the shackles of man. The animal I have become. Wonder what it's like, and I don't mean this as an insult to anybody's musical taste. But there are a few bands I've openly, I'm not a huge fan of. If you like them and they bring joy to your world, it is what it is, it doesn't make you any less of a person. It doesn't make me any less of a person for disliking them, It's just a matter of opinion on a fairly superficial topic. But I wonder what it's like to be like 3 Days Grace and make like songs about angst and then, be in your 20s or 30s and have a bunch of like 14-year-olds be like, this is exactly how I'm feeling. I'm not even being facetious. Maybe it owns. Maybe you're like, my music's found an audience and it gets people through hard times. That's really cool. Or maybe you're like, yeah, that's cool, but I was kind of like, I wrote this song for stuff that I was going through as an adult, and now, it's kind of been co-opted as like the middle school anthem for like when your teacher asks you to stop talking in class, but then you keep talking, and so they ask to see you outside, and you're like, yeah. What is I forget the other major 3 Days Grace song. I hate everything about you. I don't even know if 3 Days Grace is popular now. But kids are probably listening to like 100 Gex. I can't tell you how much I wanted to deliberately get the name wrong, just to stoke engagement. They're probably listening to the 100th Gex. Certainly lost a little and then lost a lot. Okay, you know what? I'm getting like performance anxiety at the top of this one. Because we've got like a really good and solid and tasty lap. And we're letting it deviate for essentially no reason. Like when we and I'm sure that a lot of people who play Trackmania at my level, which is to say, decent, but certainly not world class. I wonder if you got the same sort of thing going on from time to time, where you're like, well, when I do well at the first elements, I do badly at the last elements. When I do badly at the last elements, I seem to crush the first elements. I think I just said the same thing twice, but you understand the principle of what I was getting at to begin with. So I dare not repeat myself, lest I establish the precedent. Ah! Oh! Excuse me, sir, the front fell off. So I'm willing to admit this is a harder gold than I thought it was. I still don't think it's... I mean, we had golds that were... I thought we've had... recently, we had a gold that was, like, at the author medal level. This is more like a gold at the high gold level. You don't merely have to show up in order to complete this track with a gold. You got to do a little bit better than that, but... certainly we've had much worse. Good hold. Gonna be a little on the right there. That's okay. There's probably a great opportunity for a Tokyo drift. And we don't want to... oh, I skimmed it, dude. I skimmed it. But that was a much stronger performance all the way through prior to the skim. So we're going to definitely be a little slower. Not by too much, though. I saw my old self slowed down a lot. If we enter that final turn after the jump... it's not a final turn, but one of those final turns after the jump, and we are a little bit more positioned to the left, we got ourselves in a great spot. That's fine. It's not good, but it's fine. Trackmania is like playing Operation, If you ever touch the sides, it's going to put a real damper on your chances of winning. You never played Operation, that might not make any sense to you, but I promise it's actually a very astute comparison. Still in there. That's not a nice corner for me right there. An element that we probably should actually practice a little bit more. And then here we just needed to not... Yeah, okay. Okay, all right. We're going to be in there. I was never good at those, like, manual dexterity games as a kid. Like, Operation is just, it's basically like a nightmare game for me. I'm a very, I'm not a fine detail guy. I'm a coarse, like, big picture guy for the most part. And, Operation is just the perfect example of something that doesn't work well for my sensibilities because it requires an incredible attention to care and detail. And really, more than anything else, Operation rewards patience and not rushing. And that is not the way I've wired myself. Now, notice I didn't say it's not the way I'm wired. It's not the way I wired myself. The problem certainly lies with me. Yo, this is a better lap, dude. Oh, that's a goldie. And we got a whatever the trophy means, I still don't really know. All right. Can we get other opponents from North America, please? I think we still got a decent amount of time to pull off this one. Now, did we touch the wall on that one, or am I losing it? Certainly, I think there's still a lot of room for improvement. This is not one where I'm like getting the gold completely sapped my will to live. So I think that this corner is a like yellow light. I think there's lots of room for improvement there. Consistently getting that corner properly would be a yellow light. The green light is this corner right here. So I'm still, and we probably should have done a checkpoint restart there. I'll try to remember next time if we screw it up. I do wish, if I had one thing about Trackmania, well, my one thing would be lifetime club access for $30 instead of 1 year for $30. But either way, if I had one other thing for Trackmania, I wish, and if there is a way to do this, please feel free to let me know. I wish there was a way to manually choose which section of the course you wanted to retry, instead of merely... Oh, that was good. Remembering to press the button during the exact right window, and if you're a quarter of a second late, you're probably moved on to the next section. Because then we could just drill that corner over and over and over and over and over, but... Like, for a game that's so score-attacky, I do think that it's a bit of an oversight that that's not in there, but... We're splitting hairs on a game that I think is actually quite good. No need to get too bent out of shape about it. It was a decent corner. So what did I learn on this one? I don't remember. Something like start here and then... Yeah. Okay, so we're going to stay further to the left on that ramp, which actually allows us to glean a pretty nice amount of time. Now this one we're going to let it ride. We're not going to checkpoint restart. Okay, we should have checkpoint restarted. That one you can't be frustrated. We were half a second ahead of our PB. That's not a situation where I think you want to pull it back and be like, I get the other argument, by the way. You know, some comments, they need to remember the Dr. Phil quote, you know, no matter how thin the piece of paper is, you still got two sides. It's not hard to think of a counter argument for just about anything that there's an argument for. But my number one priority is being in PB City. Oh, that didn't work so well. So if I got a good chance at a PB, we're going to keep it rolling. That's not a good chance at a PB, so we'll restart. Come in here. Good stuff. Try again. Come in here. Brake a little better. Come around the side. Okay, well now I've screwed myself because we accidentally went to the next checkpoint. But, you know, that should sate the barbarians at the gates a little bit. NL says he's going to use checkpoint restart. Doesn't use checkpoint restart. Oh, yeah? commenter. Says they love my videos. Didn't watch the whole video to see the part where I use checkpoint restart. Just kidding. Still a big fan of the comments. You see? It's what's called a reverse boom. It's like when Ryan Hartman tries to hit Elias Pettersson. Instead, Elias Pettersson throws a reverse check and leaves his bones shattered in the corner. Best of luck in the draft lottery, Minnesota. Okay. Skirt. I mean, that's not even facetious. I don't wish Minnesota the best of luck in the draft lottery now that the Canucks have excised them from the NHL playoffs. But I don't wish them the worst luck. Sure, we'll talk a little hockey. I think if number one teams to win the draft lottery for me, who hates the Panthers, you know? I mean, I don't like the Panthers, mostly because Mike Matheson tried to ruin Elias Pettersson's brain because he was upset that he got deked on by a 19-year-old kid when he's like a 25-year-old grown man. But like in terms of like my respect for the fan base, nothing but respect for the Panthers. Who doesn't like, you know, Huberdeau? Who doesn't like Barkov, etc., etc.? And plus, you know, they've gone a long time without being particularly successful. They're kind of due, or not due, because they did have, you know, pretty high picks in their history. But, you know, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if the Florida Panthers got the first overall pick. I would also like to see Winnipeg get the first overall pick. They're not in the Canucks division. They got screwed this season because of injuries and unexpected stuff like Dustin Byfuglien walking away from his contract. And they're Mel's favorite team. So it's like, you know, of course I'm going to, when situation allows, I'm going to root for my friend to be happy. I think that'd be cool. And then after that, Minnesota's like they're in the bronze position for me. Wouldn't mind seeing Minnesota win the top pick. I respect the passion and fandom of the Minnesota fan base. Certainly a lot of love for hockey over there. This is not going to be close, huh? I knew that corner was pretty good, though. Oh, we are catching. We're catching. We didn't quite get there, though. I'm trying to think, like, what are the nightmare situations? Well, like Edmonton, if you're watching this and you're an Edmontonian or a fan of Edmonton, look, like, I want to see Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl go on a run, but you've had too many first overalls and second overalls and third overalls, and you know you gotta, at some point you gotta spread the love around. If you get it, it will be hilarious, but it'll also make me want to die. Pittsburgh, actually, you know, I understand they have gotten very lucky in the draft in history. You know, they won the Sidney Crosby lottery. They got Mario Lemieux. But I mean, the Crosby lottery, we're talking about something that was in 2005. You know, it was a long time ago. I wouldn't mind seeing Pittsburgh get it. Certainly, I do not want to see. We screwed up that last corner, but we're still going to be way ahead. Let's go. 6/10. Not quite author medal status. You know what? Give me some egg cartons here. Toronto, I mean, you got too much top end talent already. Tavares, Matthews, Marner, Nylander. Like, I'm not gonna say you haven't earned it, because, you know, by losing, if you lose, you've kind of earned it. But that game hasn't happened yet. Columbus and Toronto hasn't happened yet. So, you know, would I mind seeing Columbus get it? I wouldn't mind seeing Columbus get it at all. I feel like it's a small market team that gets screwed. They trade for a guy like Artemi Panarin, and then he says, like, hey, thanks for your support, but at the same time, I want to play in New York City. And Columbus is like, well, we can't be that. And he's like, well, I'm out then. Hold on, we gotta change some of these. We gotta, oh, there we go. Excuse me, 48 seconds? 56 seconds, I mean, 58 seconds? Are you insane? Oh, and please get off of the... Thank you. All right. I wouldn't mind seeing Columbus get it. Rangers, I mean, I understand if you're in the East, you probably have a few problems with the Rangers, perhaps, but as someone who's out in the West, wouldn't bother me at all. So we have way too many ghosts here. I'm still like, again, these are minor UX things, you know, quality of life changes. I wish that the logic in the game was as soon as you manually use the stopwatch, they turned off all the other ghosts that you had on at the same time, because you clearly are manually selecting the ones that you actually want to see. But instead what we're going to do, here's what we're going to do. We're going to play against Jerwi, which should also keep all of the other manually selected ghosts on. Okay, so that honestly is a good reason to have players listed as favorites. So we're losing a little bit. I mean, that turn was horrible, but we're losing a little bit in the opening section. I'm doing my diagnostic. I'm choosing not to care too much about that, because this is not where we live or die, you know? This is a little bit better. You want to be taking this flush like that. A slight left turn here to stay on target. Okay. We're losing a lot. I'm realizing if you stay on the banks but don't touch the wall there, it seems like you're gaining quite a lot of speed, actually. Now, through here, these guys are almost already invisible. We did a very similar thing there, though. Had to let off the throttle, which is spicy for sure. It's okay. I think we've learned how to improve the opening of this course. So this part, maybe a little bit more to the outside than usual. Then take the turn inside. Oh, but maybe not that sharp. Oh, well. Nice entry to this one. Then, I guess, I don't know. I don't want to say the further outside you are, the better. But it does definitely seem like if you can put yourself on an outside line, you'll maintain a little bit more speed. I'm not, like, desperate yet, but, you know, these are the kind of things that are, I'm sure, like, learning this stuff will only benefit you in Trackmania. Anyway, we were talking about the NHL. I don't really care if the Predators, if Nashville wins the first overall pick. Doesn't bother me too much. There are only a couple of, like, it's Toronto and Edmonton. I'll just be straight up with you. And I mean no disrespect. I think, honestly, watching the Canucks win a pseudo playoff series for the first time in 10 years has, it's erased a lot of my hockey salt. And I think I could find it within me to root for a Canadian team that's going to that's making a run in the playoffs. Even though previously I've said things like, you know, oh, if it's not Vancouver, then I don't really care to see a Canadian team succeed. And you got to understand that it might seem like a little, like, I mean, anti-nationalistic, but who cares? But the last time the Canucks were in the Cup Finals, so many people in Canada were like, I wouldn't root for the Canucks for any circumstance because the Sedins are soft and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, you got to understand there's a lot of built-up resentment there. So we're working that through. And I thought this could have been the year. But Toronto and Edmonton, you had your chance at the top of the draft lottery, you know? That's all it comes down to. You had your chance at the top of the lottery. Yeah, it hasn't been long enough for you for me to feel good about you getting another great pick. That was a great run, by the way. And again, I'm stunned because that great run was basically only slightly still in the vision of the top ghosts in the egg carton. But where are we at here? 38 minutes? I'm a little surprised we haven't hit the author medal. I might actually hit up the Discord. This is not meant to be a Discord advertisement. I mean, like, I only indirectly profit from the Discord in the sense that you have to be a subscriber to, you know, be a part of it. Hold on. But if you're into Trackmania or Mahjong or Fall Guys, it's a great time to be on the Discord. That's all I'm saying. Every other channel, you know, probably a few hundred messages a day still. Mahjong, Trackmania, and Fall Guys are actually, like, popping off to the highest degree imaginable. I don't know, man. Oh, if we hadn't touched the wall, there might be a chance. Okay. So I come into the Discord. Hello. I was about to ask the same question. Apparently, the track of the day, author medal, is around 58.5 seconds. Look, my 1 minute. Let's call it what it is. It's basically a 1 minute one. My 1 minute one, I'm pretty proud of. I do think I don't have 100% confidence that we can beat it over the next 15 minutes. But I think it's possible. Do I think we can beat it by 2 seconds? Now that's where I start to hit you with the debate, for sure. I don't know if that one's going to be possible. But I quite like this track. And I feel like this is a bit of an aberration, in the sense that I never really went through a period on this track where I was like, I don't like it, and now I do. This track, pretty much the whole time, I've been like, I mean, what's not to like, There's some technical racing elements. There's some slightly goofier elements that are, not resin. Still just a lot of fun. And I certainly think that this track is... sorry, I meant to add one more quick thing before I get into the big thing, but I think that it's a good length, I think a minute is it's a little high, but it's around the right level in terms of, like, the length of a track that I can focus on, and I feel like is not a true marathon necessarily. And the elements are actually, like, not so punishing as to realistically, like, routinely get you almost all the way through the track and then rip it away from you at the last second. So I'm actually very for this one. Very for this one indeed. But I think the most important thing is that this track, to me, based on my assessment so far, seems like it rewards the best racers. And I guess on a technical definition, any track of the day rewards the best racers, because it's just a time-based thing, right? But I think this one is as much about taking the turns right as it is about maximizing pretty technical stuff, like light mid-air turns. I mean, dirt in general, I think is maybe the most, and this might be a statement that I would have disagreed with as a Trackmania newbie, but I feel like dirt is the element that separates the Charles Leclercs from the Sebastian Vettels. You know what I mean? I'm just saying that because Leclerc raced out of his mind today, apparently, and Vettel didn't have a great performance. So I apologize if you're a Vettel fan and I've insulted you. It was, I mean, I guess it wasn't my intention to insult you. It was my intention to poke fun at somebody that you're a fan of. But that being said, like, that's pretty good. I think that on track, everybody's pretty close. On dirt, that's where you get some separation. That's where you end up getting some situations where you're like, if you know what you're doing, that's not great. Like, if you know what you're doing on dirt, you can make up a ton of time. Dude, we cut another 0.6 off there. That's incredible. I mean, this is a rough situation. Like, oh, sorry, Jerwy. It wasn't even close. I just extremely bodied. Never a doubt in my mind. Didn't keep the wheels too straight there. But yeah, I think I've learned a lot on this track, and just in general, it's weird. Because I feel like I've gotten a lot better at Trackmania. There's, like, lots of factors at play here, right? Like, this is like a Stats 101 case study. Why are my rankings not improving? I really feel like Trackmania is having, like, a moment, you know? I feel like people are getting good at the game, and new players are entering the game at roughly the same pace that I'm getting better at it. Which is actually truly kind of the dream, isn't it? Well, I mean, the dream would be that with a very minimal amount of effort, I would somehow find myself as, like, the best player in the world, but ignoring that. Okay. Ignoring that unrealistic dream. So we're at 45 minutes. I think, you know, we can cut our losses on the author medal today. Getting to 58 seconds is not going to happen. And we are, does it say top 22 North America? I mean, we're like 11th in Canada, which is way above our usual position. Which again, might be due to less people playing the track because it's, you know, a bit of a spicier track. But also, more people might be playing the track because it's a freaking Sunday. I don't know, man. There's a lot of mitigating factors at play here. That was bad. That was really bad. But, I mean, I feel like this is one of the ones where I'm going to finish today, and I'll look at the leaderboards and be like top 2 or 3 BC. And that's mostly because the really good players play early, but then a couple of people, they got to get through their... they got to defend their master's theses in racing economics today first. And then when they log on, I usually slip to like 8th, but top 10 still. Skirt. And now I'm realizing, because I had like a dream last night, but I'm only now realizing it was a dream. I dreamt that in Trackmania, it actually, and I know I talked about this on an earlier episode as something I'd like to see, but I dreamt that Trackmania leaderboards actually went as far as your neighborhood. So you would be like, you know, oh, well, I'm top 6 in British Columbia, but, you know, in the Hastings Sunset neighborhood of Vancouver, I'm number 1. Now, I deliberately chose a neighborhood in which I don't reside, but I will say, I would be very surprised if I was not number 1 if I moved to Hastings Sunset. It's a community that's a little bit on the older side. I might be one of the only people that actually would own the game there, so I think that would really limit my level of competition. Now, if I move to, say... trying to think of a good example. If I move to, you know, West Vancouver, I don't know. You'd be talking about a lot of kids with some trust fund money that, you know, aren't in school right now because of the pandemic. Might have a Thrustmaster setup that puts, you know, my Xbox 360 controller to shame. I think I'd be, if I could get like, you know, top 3 there, I would maybe consider myself an accomplished driver. It's been a very local episode. Talking about hockey. Talking about Vancouver neighborhoods and municipalities. Really seemed like we kept a lot of speed on that one. I don't know what we did, but I'll take it. Little heavy on the wheel turn there. That's no good. I do think we got a little, like we got one last potential burst in us, but we're pretty close to tapped out on this one. So this is just one of the ones where we'll say, you know what? I do maintain this every day. Am I capable of getting the author medal? Yes. Why am I not going to get the author medal? Because the time investment is going to be, you know, higher for me than it would be for some people. Not to say that I'm busier, although there's a chance, but rather, you know, some people will play for half an hour and be like, I got the author medal, it was a little touchy. This for me is probably like a 2-hour Marty, because the time it takes to get a new PB is always rising. You know what I mean? The time between PBs tends to rise, but then simultaneously PBs are like bananas, as Daniel would say. They come in bunches. But the time between bunches, the TBB, tends to increase. Yo, now that was what we were looking for. And I was so flabbergasted with myself that I actually managed to take that turn the best I've been able to take it so far, that I screwed it up right after. And didn't enter the second chicane in the proper fashion. But you know what? Duly noted. Duly noted. It's a fun track, though. I would definitely give this track a heavy seal of approval. I think this is you know, by daily standards, this is like a 10 out of 10. I'm not shy with the 10 out of 10s. I think I've said this in the Trackmania series before. I think people avoid giving 10 out of 10s to things that they love because they worry that it'll make them seem like like they're an indiscriminate judge of things and they want to take like the intellectual approach, like nobody's perfect or whatever. I don't support that. If you don't use all elements of the scale, then there's no reason for the scale to have those elements in it. Unless you're holding out... Like, really, you think, like, if you ran a gaming website or blog, you'd be like, my audience is better served by never giving out a 10 and instead holding it up as an impossible metric to achieve than it would by being like, hey, this is a 10 out of 10 because it's one of the best games I've ever played. Doesn't make any sense to me. I feel like it's a disservice to your readers and a service really only to your own ego. So, yeah, I mean, as far as tracks of the day go, I think this is a 10. Based on the ones I've played so far, heavy 10 energy. Great corner. It's a slight right adjustment on the wheels when you land. I'm going to be honest. You ever be, and this is a good metaphor because of the game, but you ever be in a car that's just going too fast and you feel like you've lost control? That's what just happened. I was like, I'm not used to being here at this speed, and it all went wrong again, like that Everclear song off of Antitrust soundtrack. That movie with Ryan Philippe, Tim Robbins, Ryan Philippe? How do you pronounce that guy's name? Ryan Philippe. Nope. Anywho, I'll probably give this one more honest attempt. I've seen Antitrust. Tim Robbins plays Bill Gates. Well, he plays a Bill Gates analog. Ryan Philippe is a very talented software engineer who goes to work at Microsoft. Rachel Lee Cook plays his girlfriend, but actually his girlfriend has been paid off by Tim Robbins to like spy on him to make sure he's loyal to the company. Claire Forlani is I believe a tech reporter. It's not a very good movie, by the way. If you're wondering, hey, should I go see Antitrust starring Tim Robbins? No, the answer is absolutely not. It's from a weird era where Bill Gates was, and trust me, I understand the modern controversy around Bill Gates, and I refuse to pay it any lip service. But it comes from an era like before Bill Gates was seen by many people as like a benevolent philanthropist, and instead was a cutthroat, bloodthirsty businessman. He was such had that so much in the media that they made this movie called Antitrust. That's the end of the story. I just wish that like they had made the movie any good. So we're gonna be back by, I was just gonna say 2 or 3 tenths. Very good entry to this corner. I mean, I'm not gonna leave you on this one. If this one ends up being garbage, we'll throw one more at it. Peak Salamanca. I can already tell I'm in peak Salamanca. Yeah, we're not going to catch up there. Okay. I'm still like, we fought for our lap here. This is not a day where we didn't perform well. So I can definitely, hold my head high. Put my hat on the hat rack. The point is, everything's fine. Skirt. And today's Trackmania, for my purposes, I think we leave this one being like, even if we don't get a new PB here, which is going to be real tough for us because we just clipped the wall slightly. Certainly I leave this one thinking that like, we did our all today. Or we did our most. I can never really say I gave it my all unless I, left it all out on the table. But I gave it my most. I did not give it my least today. I mean, I'm fading here. I don't know what's going on, but we're gonna have to pull it together here. Skirt, by the way, and skirt. Now that was okay. I don't know. I honestly think that perhaps by being slow, it's actually an advantage for me in this next section. Little galaxy brain, perhaps. Half a second, huh? I mean, you're seeing the same thing I'm seeing. This one's gonna be tough. Again, I'll just level with you. I didn't know what to do with my speed. You ever bike too fast and then suddenly you're going downhill and you need to slow down? That's basically what just happened to me right there. But also, all of the ghosts are gone. Or am I just in front? What is this feeling? Keep it moving. Man, it's so much harder to tell when you're losing speed. Because sometimes you go through this and you're like, hey, that was pretty good. And then you hit the split and you're like, negative or positive, sorry. What happened? Ah! I should have been the one to fill your dark soul with light. Alright, last lap for real. Regardless of what happens. Regardless of what happens. 2 tenths down. Take a penny, leave a penny, 2 tenths down. Not bad. Actually might have recovered a little. It's not take a penny, leave a penny in hot cross buns, is it? It's 1 a penny, 2 a penny. Alright, well this is Spice City. Should be a great name for a restaurant. But I don't know why I'm picturing it having like arcades and stuff like that. Well, I think that's gonna do it, but I'm very much not concerned about our performance today, because we are top 2 BC, and we were close to top 1. And in the egg cart, top 28 for now, but it's still early. It was a good day. Don't let the fact that we didn't finish on a PB mind frick you into believing that it's not. For now, thanks for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. Please do click the like button if you enjoyed the episode. As Trackmania goes on and on, I appreciate all the support. Hope you guys are enjoying the videos, and I'll see you next time. See ya!